Namami subjects, welcome aboard. I'm out of suspension because another case needs my attention. For this episode, let's talk about the Hello Kitty murders case. This case revolves around three words: Melody or Afo, this is a pseudonym given by the court, Fanman Yi, aka the victim, and the triads. I apologize if I'm pronouncing any names wrong because these names are kind of new to me. I've been practicing for a while, but I don't know if it's going to come out right or not. So I priorly apologize. And from here on, I'm going to refer Melody as Melody and Fanman Yi as Amap with a pseudonym given by the court, and triads as triads. So first, let's learn about Melody a little bit. Melody was merely 13 years old when she left her home, bossy brothers, and arguing parents in 1998. Then she came to Hong Kong where she met Ling Wai Lun. He introduced her to the world of neon and plastic, then to a notorious gangster, Chan Man Lok, aka the Gangster. This is how Melody entered into the world of triads. The triads are notorious gangsters. Chan Man Lok had an apartment of 7 rooms which was riddled with Hello Kitty stuff, Hong Kong movies, drugs, prostitutes, and everything that had a capability of creating a virtual world. When I said drugs, the main drug that was in this apartment was ice or methamphetamine. This apartment was full of methamphetamine. And before proceeding, let me tell you a little bit about methamphetamine. When a person consumes methamphetamine, it just does not blow your mind. It melts your brain and it drowns your mind with all the feel-good chemicals that would turn any human feeling into a superhuman. And when they are high, they don't feel any mundane things like the sensory stuff or the stimulation stuff. That goes beyond human level. Now remember this because this is going to play a major role as we proceed in the case. So now imagine the people who are living in this apartment, because this apartment is full of methamphetamine. So if a person is living in here, imagine what the state of mind the person would have. Now let's talk about our victim, Fanman Yi or Amap. From here on, I'm going to address her as Amap. Amap was abandoned as a child, so she had to grow up in a girl's home. Like most of the directionless kids, she turned towards crime, prostitution, drugs for survival. In this world of sex, money and power, she met her husband, who was also a drug addict as well as a wife beater, which she came to know after marrying him, but went on to have a son 2 years after their marriage. The victim was very addicted to ice, so her modest bar dancer job wasn't paying her bills. So she returned to sex worker role, and that's how she met Chan Man Lok in 1997 at a brothel. They used to have their love business, but then Chan Man Lok was also abundant with ice, so they would have long ice binge sessions. All was fun until Amap got allegedly a little bit greedy and stole Chan Man Lok's wallet. According to the claim, the purse had roughly 3.4 lakh Indian rupees of this day. When Chan Man Lok came to his senses, he went to recover it from Amap, which resulted in torture, sexual assault, dismemberment, and death of Amap. When Chan confronted Amap about the money, she immediately gave in and agreed to pay back with interest. That is roughly 12 lakh Indian rupees as of today. She worked hard to repay his loan, and by 1999, she had successfully repaid his money. But being a loan shark, Chan Man Lok did not accept this truce. Instead, Chan Man Lok wanted to abduct Amap, force her into prostitution, take her money until they feel like their loan is repaid. Oh God, you could not get more stupid than this. Because the girl has already paid you 4 times your alleged sum, yet you fuckers are not satisfied with all of this. Now you want to force her into prostitution. Okay, I agree that she's already into prostitution, but she is doing that consensually. But these assholes want to force her and pimp her out. God. That's why I said ice melts your fucking brain. So, as per their plan, they kidnapped Amap and they were high on ice. So they wanted some fun first. Remember, I told you when ice is in body, normal stimulation works on nobody. So they trashed, bruised her until they realized that bruised prostitutes don't earn money. So they kept her as their own punching bag and a fun toy. There began a month-long hell for Amap. She was tied up, she was burnt using plastic straws until she oozed out pus. Then they would put chili oil to increase her pain. Now in all of this, where is Melody, you ask? She was Chanman's girlfriend. So even she joined them, which was key to the spotlight this murder has gained. Melody requested full immunity from the law in exchange of information about what happened. Then the details she revealed sent chills down everyone's spine. They would beat her until she passed out of pain, and the trio would pass out due to being high on ice. They would tie her up and hit her on head until they got bored. When they were hitting Amap, they forced her to laugh as if she was enjoying getting hit. If she didn't laugh, then more beating followed. They would turn Amap upside down and pee in her mouth. She was supposed to drink it, else more beating followed. Melody recounted a situation where Melody defecated in a box and Amap was forced to eat. When there was nothing on TV going, they would tie her up and hit her with iron bars, water pipes, and anything they could find in kitchen. At the end of her time, Amap was drifting in and out of consciousness. On a grateful day of April 15th, when perpetrator returned from Games Arcade, they found out that she had died. But the horrors don't end with her death. When I said on a grateful day of April 15th, I meant that it's good that she died, because, man, listening to all of this is really macabre. This is really bad. Like, no human can go to such lengths of depravity that even the devil would be scared to meet them. Gosh. But all the horrors don't go away with her death. They did not leave her in peace after her death. When they found out that she was dead, they left her body out in the cold, thinking like, okay, her body is going to disappear over the night, and they slept because they were high on ice. So all they thought was the body is going to destroy itself. But when they woke up in the morning, they saw that the body wasn't destroyed. On the same day, there was a police raid in a different floor of their apartment regarding some prostitution. So now these guys had to act. And you know how they acted? They dismembered her body with a handsaw, which took 10 hours. Chanman Lok took Amap's head and put it in a boiling water, then ordered his 2 lackeys to remove flesh and organs from the body, which they stored in a fridge. They treated this dismemberment, cooking her, and stuffing her body parts as a television show. They took her skull and organs, then sewed up into a Hello Kitty doll to conceal everything. After all this ended, Melody started seeing ghosts of Amap, so she went to police and reported everything. First, police brushed it off, disregarding her claims being delusional. But then they felt like checking on the girl's claims and thus uncovered this horror. I'm talking about 1999, when the homicide rate was 1.23 per 100,000 people. So when this report came out, everybody was shocked. The 3 men, Chanman Lok, Leung-Shin Cho, Leung Wai-Lun, were convicted for manslaughter without possibility of parole for 20 years. Now, if you focus on this word manslaughter, this actually says that the person died as an unexpected outcome of something. It's like the perpetrators were never intending to kill the victim. They just did something which resulted in the person's death. That's manslaughter. All of this does not make sense. If you look at this 6 weeks of court ordeal in Hong Kong, it was like it's my word against yours. It was Melody's words against the trio. So it all was like you said, he said, she said, it happened, this happened. So when Melody was saying that they have done all these atrocities, on the other side, the trio was telling a different story. The trio was telling that they've got Amap as a prostitute. She was already a methamphetamine addict and she overdosed herself on methamphetamine. While Amap's husband has claimed that she stopped taking drugs 2 years ago. that is on 1997. She stopped taking drugs because she wanted to get pregnant with a child, so she was not on drugs. She was clean for 2 years. Now again, it boils down to he said, she said. There was no proof which could be submitted in the court because they have boiled out all her flesh, they have thrown out all her organs. All they could find in that Hello Kitty doll was Ahmab's skull, couple of teeth, and some organs. That's it. So from all of this, it was impossible to prove that she was bruised up, that she was battered, or that she was tortured for such a long time. All they could prove was the trio restricted her from getting a proper burial. That's it. Nothing more than that. They could not prove anything in the court. Most of the crime stories, they either end with the victim or the perpetrator dying or the police uncovering them. But what happens in the court is an entirely different ball game. So according to the crime story you have listened and I have narrated, Melody has outlined, these three are not just humans, they're animals. But they could not prove it in court. So what happened? They were just charged with manslaughter and they were charged for life without the possibility of parole for 20 years. As of 2023, Chanman Lok, Leung Wai-lun are serving in prison for life, while Leung Shing Cho was released in 2014. But again, he was imprisoned in August 2022 for 1 year because he assaulted a 10-year-old girl. Now there is a saying in my mother tongue. It goes like, इंसान की आदत बदल सकती है, फितरत नहीं. If you get it, you get it. But if I break down it, the nuance of this saying will be lost. So if you get it, you get it. Leung Shing Cho had a second opportunity to rebuild his life. I don't know if he deserved or not, but the court deemed him worthy of having a second opportunity and he was released in 2014. But man, he was animal that he went on to assault a 10-year-old girl. Even after being imprisoned for 18 years, he came out, waited for 8 years, and then went on to assault. To think that all this horror stemmed out from being neglected during childhood is kind of shocking. Had Ahmab gotten a better childhood, had Melody been in a better household, had these three assholes been killed as soon as they were born, then probably the world would have been a different place. But it happened how it happened. And the main thing is, Melody was not seeing Ahmab's ghost. Melody was at a tender age of 13 to 14 years old. So when she saw this, when everything unfolded right in front of her eyes, this was a traumatic core memory for her. This was all coming back for her when she was trying to sleep. When she was all alone, all of this was coming back to her. And that's how her guilt ate her up and made her spill the beans. And that's kind of a good thing too, that she went out and spoke out. So after listening all of this, everybody might have had their own opinion when I said that if they had a better childhood, the story would have unfolded differently. Some people might agree, some people might not. Some people might have their own opinions regarding this. Let me know below. If you're listening on Spotify, if you're listening on YouTube, then make use of the comment section. Make sure you leave a rating to the episode. Stay vigilant, stay safe. That's it for now. I'm Hazi, signing off.